There's something deeply wrong when those who should respect you the most start treating you as if you were invisible. In the later years of life, many people end up accepting disrespect as if it were a natural part of aging. But that's one of the biggest lies ever told. Respect doesn't fade with age. If anything, your life experience should elevate your worth, not diminish it. Accepting less than you deserve is giving up something no one should have to beg for: dignity. The hard truth is this: either you value yourself now, or you risk being forgotten even by the ones you love most. The good news? Turning this situation around doesn't require shouting, fighting, or distancing yourself. It requires strategy, awareness, and action. In this video, you're going to learn 8 clear steps that will restore the respect within your family, while strengthening the bonds of love. The lessons you'll discover here can trigger real change in just a few days, even if things feel pretty discouraging right now. So the question is, are you ready to take control of your life again and live your golden years with the honor and recognition you truly deserve? Stay with me until the end, because what we're about to dive into, few people have the courage to teach. But once you learn it, life will never be the same. The pain of being disrespected in your golden years is silent, but it stings every day. A harsh comment, a dismissive glance, an important decision made without even asking for your opinion. Each small disregard piles up on your heart like invisible stones in a backpack. And worst of all, many just get used to carrying that weight, thinking it's normal, but it's not. Recognizing that something needs to change is the very first step toward reclaiming your dignity, your emotional health, and the respect you deserve. Admitting that it hurts is not a weakness. Ignoring this hurt is like trying to cover a crack in a wall by hanging a picture over it. Eventually, it will split wider. Unresolved emotions silently impact your physical health, your sleep, and your overall longevity. So acknowledging your feelings, without shame, is an act of courage. It's about protecting the incredible life story you've built, not brushing it under the rug. Think of it like an old house, filled with memories, but starting to show cracks. Would a loving owner ignore the repairs? Of course not. They would protect and restore it. The same principle applies to your life. Taking care of your emotional dignity is an essential part of nurturing your longevity and health. Every small step you take to rebuild your self-respect strengthens the foundation you stand on. Sometimes, change begins with a single, quiet enough. Not with shouting, not with arguments. Just a steady silence, a firm gaze that says, "I exist. I matter." This unshakable presence sends a clear message to everyone around you. And that's when the gears start turning differently, when the respect you thought was lost starts to find its way back. One practical example: next time someone interrupts you mid-conversation, simply raise your hand and wait for silence. At family gatherings, calmly request to share your opinion before any decisions are made. Tiny gestures like these steadily rebuild the emotional ground where respect grows strong. And it's never too late. Every time you choose to honor yourself, whether by setting a boundary or by speaking your mind, you reignite the flame of your worth. And trust me, once that flame is lit again, the people around you will feel its warmth. But here's something surprising. Often, without realizing it, we ourselves contribute to the slow erosion of respect. And that invisible mistake is exactly what we need to talk about next. There's a silent mistake many elders make without even noticing: self-neglect. It starts subtly, putting your needs last, accepting disrespect to avoid causing trouble, minimizing your own feelings. What seems like kindness eventually teaches others to treat you as secondary. In the third age, where every moment counts, protecting your emotional health is not selfish, it's survival. Picture this. At a family lunch, you're constantly interrupted, but you smile awkwardly and say nothing. Someone asks for a favor without even a please, and you silently comply. Each time you brush it off with a "never mind," you chip away at your own dignity. Respect is not demanded, it's cultivated, and it begins with how you allow yourself to be treated. Real example: your grandson asks to borrow your car. You feel uncomfortable, but you agree because you don't want to seem difficult. That one moment teaches him that your boundaries can be crossed. Teaching people how to respect you is like tending a garden. If you don't prune the wild weeds, the flowers you cherish will wither. And it's not about guilt-tripping anyone. Most of the time, family members aren't malicious. They're simply accustomed to a dynamic you silently allowed. It's your role now to lovingly but firmly re-educate them about your value. A practical tip: write down 3 things you admire about yourself and 3 proud moments from your life. Read them every week. Reinforce within yourself the image of a person worthy of deep respect, because you truly are. If you don't step forward to restore your dignity, no one else will. And luckily, there's a beautiful way to reset your boundaries without losing the love around you. Let's talk about that next. The beauty of the third age is the clarity it brings, but that clarity comes with a challenge. How do you reestablish your boundaries without seeming harsh or being labeled as grumpy? The answer is simple: firm kindness. When you stand your ground with tenderness, without giving up your dignity, respect blooms without uprooting love. It's a delicate balance, but it's absolutely possible. Setting boundaries is like building a lovely garden fence. It's not meant to keep people away, it's meant to protect what matters most. So the first rule is to communicate clearly and gently. Instead of reacting with anger, try saying, "I understand your point, but I need my opinion to be considered too." Clear, respectful communication strengthens emotional health and brings families closer, not farther apart. Practical example: a grandmother who was constantly volunteered to babysit, even when she was tired, simply sat down one day and said, "I love spending time with them, but I also need days to rest and take care of my health." Nobody felt attacked. Instead, they admired her honesty. The third age should be about shining, not disappearing. Another key is consistency. You can't demand respect one day and then backslide the next because you feel guilty. Boundaries are only effective when they're steady. Think of teaching a child not to cross a street alone. It's about safety, not rejection. Your firmness teaches your family how to honor you properly. Consistency also means calmly repeating your needs when necessary. Phrases like, "Remember, I need my quiet Wednesdays," or "Thank you for inviting me, but today I need to prioritize my rest." Reinforce your dignity without hostility. Assertive, loving communication is a pillar of emotional longevity. And here's a tip: pair boundaries with affection. A firm no delivered with a smile and a warm hug creates no wounds. It creates admiration. Say you can't babysit today? Invite them for Sunday lunch instead. Boundaries, when wrapped in kindness, are bridges, not walls. Remember, resetting boundaries is a journey, not a one-time conversation. Some will accept quickly, others will resist. But each small victory is a seed planted in the soil of mutual respect. And speaking of communication, wait until you see how a simple shift in the way you speak can completely transform the way your family treats you. Few people realize it, but the way we speak changes everything, especially in the third age. Sometimes it's not the message that causes conflict, it's the delivery. Assertive communication is like seasoning a meal. The right touch makes everything more appealing. Being assertive isn't being aggressive or passive. It's being clear, firm, and respectful all at once. And it's a true game changer for respect and emotional health. Picture this. You need to tell your son you can't pick up the grandchildren every day. If you apologize too much, you'll sound insecure. If you speak harshly, you'll create resentment. But if you calmly say, "I'd love to help more, but I also need to care for my health. Let's find a solution together," everything shifts. In the third age, your life experience deserves to be expressed proudly, not hesitantly. When you speak clearly and confidently, people listen differently. Your words carry weight. And this strengthens your presence within your family and protects your emotional longevity. Practical tip: use "I feel" or "I need" statements. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," say, "I feel hurt when my opinion is overlooked." This small shift lowers defenses and increases understanding. Body language matters too. Your posture, eye contact, and calm gestures often speak louder than words. Standing tall, looking others in the eye. These subtle signals show that you know your worth, and they demand respect without a single raised voice. And don't forget, assertive communication isn't just about speaking, it's about listening too. When you listen without interrupting or planning your comeback, you model the very respect you seek. Healthy conversations nourish not only relationships, but your own emotional health and sleep. Real example: Mr. Francisco, at 74, used to be dismissed during family discussions. when he started communicating assertively, respectfully, calmly, but firmly. Everything changed. He now plays an active role in family decisions, and his self-respect has grown tremendously. And if you think speaking well is powerful, wait until you see what happens when you act silently and let your dignity do the talking. Sometimes, the greatest strength in the third age doesn't come from words, but from silence. There's a silent attitude, almost magical, that makes any child stop and rethink their behavior. It's not about giving the cold shoulder or playing mind games. It's something far more powerful: quiet dignity. When you quietly remove yourself from disrespectful situations, without drama, without explanations, the message becomes impossible to ignore. Imagine a mother in her 70s, always interrupted during conversations. Instead of arguing, she simply fell silent and calmly excused herself, smiling gently but firmly. No yelling, no hurt feelings, just a peaceful statement through action. Soon, her children noticed the change, and they realized the absence of her voice spoke louder than any angry words. This technique works because it breaks the cycle of conflict. It throws the responsibility for reflection back onto the other person. You're not demanding respect, you're living it. And in the third age, this kind of emotional wisdom protects your health and restores respect more effectively than endless explanations ever could. Another real example. At a family dinner where he was being dismissed, a wise grandfather simply stood up and said, "I'll leave you to finish your conversation. I'll rest a bit and join you later." No anger, no resentment, just quiet self-respect. And that small move sparked reflection in everyone present. But it's important to remember, this silent attitude must come from love for yourself, not from bitterness. If it's fueled by resentment, it turns into passive aggression. If it's fueled by dignity, it becomes a lighthouse, guiding others back to proper behavior. Most people underestimate the power of quiet example. They believe only loud changes create impact. But history proves otherwise. The greatest leaders, Gandhi, Mandela, Mother Teresa, inspired massive change through quiet strength. In the third age, you too can inspire your family, simply by being the example. And when you master this art, something amazing happens. Not only do others start respecting you, they start respecting themselves more too. But sometimes, silence isn't enough, and you'll need to know how and when to say no firmly, but without guilt. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself in your third age is the ability to say no without guilt. Many believe that saying no is selfish or unkind. But the truth is, saying no at the right time is one of the highest acts of self-love and emotional health. Without boundaries, even the deepest love starts to fray. And maintaining clear boundaries is crucial for your emotional longevity. Here's a classic situation. You're asked, again, to babysit last minute, but you had planned a peaceful afternoon reading your favorite book. If you always say yes against your will, frustration builds silently, poisoning the relationship you're trying to protect. The key is how you say no, not with anger, not with endless apologies, with warmth and firmness. Example, I'd love to help, but today I need to rest and take care of my health. Let's plan something another day. Kindness plus firmness equals respect. Important tip, avoid over-explaining. Too many justifications sound like you're guilty of taking care of yourself, and you're not. A simple, gentle, "Today won't be possible, but thank you for thinking of me," is often all you need. You can also anticipate situations. Set clear days or times when you're available and when you are not. This protects your health, your personal freedom, and reinforces that your time is valuable. After all, freedom, real freedom, is one of the greatest treasures of the third age. At first, you might feel uncomfortable. Years, maybe decades, of people-pleasing habits don't break overnight. But real peace doesn't come from saying yes to everyone else. It comes from saying yes to yourself. And soon, others will start respecting your time and energy too. True story. Dona Nusa, 80, used to give in to every family request. One day, she decided her mornings would be sacred for walking and reading. Today, her family respects that, and some even adopted their own sacred mornings too. Saying no didn't create distance, it inspired respect. And if you think earning back respect takes months or years, wait until you see how just a few days of consistent action can flip the whole dynamic in your favor. Many people believe that regaining lost respect takes a lifetime, but that's simply not true. Change can begin in just a few days, with simple, consistent actions. When you shift how you see yourself and act accordingly, the world around you quickly adjusts. Your emotional health, self-esteem, and even your sleep improve dramatically. Step 1. Start treating yourself with dignity in your daily routines. Eat well, sleep well, rest when you need to. When you honor yourself, others are forced to take notice. In the third age, your habits teach others how to treat you. Another powerful move. Change the tone of your conversations. Focus less on complaints, more on hopes, dreams, and joys. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate purpose and vitality. Show your family, with your words and actions, that you are still vibrant, wise, and full of life. Real story. Mr. Antonio, 79, once felt invisible to his family. Instead of complaining, he started organizing weekly coffee chats with his children, listening attentively and offering thoughtful advice. In less than 2 weeks, they began seeking his guidance again. Don't underestimate the power of small, consistent changes. Correct a disrespectful interruption with calm. Assert your right to be included in decisions. Each small stand builds the foundation of restored respect. Celebrate every victory. Every no, said with love. Every boundary respected. Every moment where you chose yourself, celebrate it. Reinforce the positive change, and it will grow stronger every day. Of course, not everyone will adjust immediately. Some will resist the new you. But stay steady, because respect isn't demanded. It's inspired. And the final piece to making this permanent is the deepest, most powerful step of all. There's a truth few dare to say out loud. If you don't value yourself, no one else will. Not your children, not your friends. In the third age, recognizing your own worth isn't vanity, it's survival. Self-respect is the root of every healthy relationship you will ever have. Self-value isn't about arrogance. It's about celebrating the scars, the wrinkles, the life experiences that make you who you are. Practical tip. Every morning, look in the mirror and say out loud, I matter. My voice matters. My life has meaning. Small habit. Huge transformation. Self-care matters too. Take pride in your appearance, your health, your routines. Buy that new shirt. Schedule that checkup. Care for yourself like you would care for someone you love dearly, because you deserve nothing less. And don't minimize your feelings. If something hurts you, acknowledge it. If something bothers you, express it. Pretending everything is fine when it's not slowly kills your joy and your emotional health. Dream again. Write down things you still want to experience. Travel, paint, dance, start new projects. Dreaming is essential for longevity at any age. And be selective with your circle. Some relationships are meant to be loved from a distance. Surround yourself with people who celebrate you, who respect your time, your dreams, your dignity. Never forget, you don't have to beg for love or recognition. You simply have to embody your own worth. When you stand tall in your own value, the world around you has no choice but to adjust. And now that you know all this, it's time to turn knowledge into action, because a seed not planted will never bloom. Now tell me, what are you going to do differently after everything we've talked about? Will you keep accepting disrespect like it's normal? Or will you step up and claim the respect and dignity you deserve? The third age is not the time to fade away. It's your opportunity to shine even brighter, through wisdom, through strength, through quiet, undeniable presence. If at any point you thought, maybe it's too late for me, know this, the right time to value yourself is always now. Leave a comment below. Which of these 8 steps are you going to start practicing today? Which small action will your family notice first? And if this message spoke to your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Every week, you'll find new content to strengthen your journey of dignity, respect, health, and emotional longevity.